Here we go. The lesson. We're up to Unit 9, and we're going to start off with covering both sections 911 and 912. So you can see it starts out with the question, what is a matrix? How can I work with multiple matrices? Matrices is a word for plural matrix. And how are they useful? So, you can see right there, Introduction to Matrices. Matrices are a type of table that is used to organize information. After learning the basics and the rules that apply to them, later in Chapter 9, you will learn how to use your calculator to solve matrices and how to apply these to complicated systems of equations. So, with that being said, let's get started. Rule number 1, matrices have rows and columns. So, color coordination, rows. This would be a row, that'd be a row. And you start with the rows in the front. Then you've got these things called columns, and columns are vertical. So as you can see, you've also got two. This is called a square matrix, because it's a 2 by 2, forms a square. And without being so color coordinated, look at this one. How many rows do you have? 1, 2, 3. Start with rows. How many columns? 1, 2, 3. Another square matrix. So, we'll go into this one. Kind of a unique one. How many rows does this have? 1. How many columns? 1. Alright. So, you will find out very quickly that starts out pretty dang simple. Adding matrices must have the same dimension. So you can see this is 2 by 2. This is a 2 by 2. So essentially if I cut and paste, put this one on top of that one, it tells me what to add. In other words, this plus this, 9. This plus this, 4. This plus this, 9. Negative 4 plus 3, negative 1. Pretty simple start. That's what this is telling you. Pause this a second. Moving on. You can see we have a 3 by 3 and a 3 by 3. So, adding them together, 1 plus 9 is 10. 2 plus 8 is 10. 3 plus 7 is 10. 4 plus 6 is 10. Oh well. 5 plus 5 is 10. 6 plus, you pick up on a pattern, they're not all going to be like this. 8 plus 2 is 10, 9 plus 1 is 10. A little practice problem. Now what if we had something like this? 2, 6, 4, 9 plus 3, 6, I'm just making this up, 2, 1, 0. Notice this is not a 2 by 2. This is. So I would start by maybe adding this to this, this to this, this to this, this to this, but then there's nothing here or here to add to this. Can't do it. Alright, subtraction. So you can see this doesn't start out very difficult. This is just the formula, but all you do is subtract. Same thing as adding, but 1 minus 1, 0. 2 minus 3, negative 1. You can get messed up in your head pretty easily. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. 4 minus 5 is negative 1. And there you go. Now we got a 3 by 3. So we're going to end up with a 3 by 3. 1 minus 9, negative 8. 2 minus 8, negative 6. 3 minus 7, negative 4. 4 minus 6, negative 2. 5 minus 5, 0. 6 minus 4, 2. 7 minus 3, 4. 8 minus 2, 6. 9 minus 1, 8. And that's it. Okay, now we're going to talk about elements in a matrix. As you can see, if I was to say, read this problem, find the element A, I would say 31, but that's not what that's saying. That's saying row 3, column 1 in this matrix. So well, this is a generic form. Let's focus on this one right here. But as you can see, this is row 1, column 1, row 1, column 2, row 1, column 3, row 2, column 1, row 2, column 2, and so on. So if we're going to find the actual element, third row, 1, 2, 3, we're focusing on this row, and the first column, that would take us to the 4. That's the element in that position. This is saying second row, second column. Second row, second row, second column, and that'd be a -6. Okay. Pause. Okay, now we're up to multiplying matrices, multiplying 2 by 2 matrices. And so let's just go. I'm going to try to use colors to explain this little formula. But as you can see, it tells us A times E plus B times G. In other words, this times this plus this times this. The way I say it is you throw the first row in the first matrix through the first column in the second matrix. So let's practice that on this one. Oh, and your answer's in the upper left-hand corner. So as you can see, we have a 2 by 2, and it's going to end up being a 2 by 2. So let's show our work a little bit. So we throw the first row through the first column, but it's 1 times 5 plus 2 times 7. That's what goes in the upper left-hand corner. Now we'll clean this thing up in a minute, but, well, maybe we should clean it up now. 5 plus 14 is 19. That's what goes in the upper left-hand corner. I'm running out of space here, so I'll have to write really small. But wait a minute, what's up here? As you can see, now they're saying throw this row. Now that you've thrown it through that first column, now throw it through the second column. So A times F plus B times H. So we're going to take that and now throw it through this one. This is going to get messy if I try to use colors the whole time. Alright, so let's apply that to this problem. So now we take this row again and throw it through that column. What does that mean? Oh, and it also goes in this upper space here, and you can see I've run out of space, so I'm going to write it over here. So it's 1 times 6 plus 2 times 8, which is 6 plus 16, which is 22, and that goes in the upper right-hand corner. So now we don't have any more columns, so we're done with the top row. We've thrown it through the first column, we've thrown it through the second column, and notice where they go. Upper left for the first one, upper right for the second one. Now we dip down to this one. As you can see, this says to fill out the bottom left-hand corner, which will be right here, we need to go C times E, D times G. In other words, second row, first column. So here we go. Second row, first column, piece by piece. So that's going to be 3 times 5 plus 4 times 7. 15 plus 28 is 43. But now, we've thrown the first row through the first column. Now we got to throw the first row, or the, second row, first column, second row, second column. So what's that look like? Well, that's what this is saying to do. So C times F plus D times H. So now we got to throw this second row through the second column, piece by piece. So 3 times, and that goes in the bottom right hand corner. So 3 times 6 plus 4 times 8. That's 18 plus 32, which is 50. And there's my answer. Okay, now we've got an interesting problem multiplying 3 by 3's. This gets a little more intense. It's not hard, it's just more to keep track of. Same process. First row through the first column. See, we're going A times B. I should have said that first of all. Notice, this is on the left, this is on the right, and that's exactly the way this is given to us, so we can go for it. Now notice we switched the order here. Does that matter? We're going to find out. Well, I'm going to do some mental arithmetic, and then just tell you that when I multiply first row times the first column, that's going to go in the upper left. So that's 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 9 is 14. But now I got to take that first row, multiply it through the second column, and that answer is going to go right here. Mental math now. 1 times 5 is 5, 2 times 6 is 12, 12 and 5 is 17, 3 and 8 is 24, 24 and 17 is 41. Now, to figure out the upper right, we're going to take that row, throw it through that column. And if there were more columns, you would keep going. But 1 times 4 is 4, 2 times 0 is 0, so we're still at 4, 3 times 7 is 21, so that all adds up to 25. Now that we're done with that row, now we slide down to the second row, we do the same thing. Throw it through that, throw it through that, throw it through that. So here we go. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 12 is 16, plus 21 is 37. That goes right there. Now we throw it through the second column. 4 times 5 is 20, plus 36 is 56. Plus 56 is 112. One more time. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 0 is 16, plus 49. 16 plus 49 is 65. Now that there's no more columns for this to go through, we're done. Now we slide down to the final row, and we're going to fill in that spot, that spot, that spot. So 5 times 1 is 5, plus 16 is 21, almost added, plus 0 is 21. This third row through the second column, 25 plus 48, better make sure not to make a mistake, is 73 plus 0. So we got a 73 there. And here we go. Last thing we need to do. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 0 is 20, plus 0 is 20. That was an easy one. And there's my answer. Now this says multiply b times a. Well, unless you're a genius, and you can look at things backwards, it is very, very important to literally write it as it's given to you. And let's see if we get a different answer. 407. So there's b. Wrote that one first. And now here comes a. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 5, 8, 0. Well, here we go. A lot of mental math. And you can use your calculator if you want. 1 times 1 is 1, plus 20 is 21, plus another 20 is 41. Now this row through this column, 2 plus 30 is 32, plus 32 is 64. Very easy to make one small mistake. Now this row through the final column, 1 times 3 is 3, plus 35 is 38, plus 0 is 38. Now we're done with that row. Now we got to focus on this row and go through the columns. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 24 is 26, plus 0 is 26. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 36 is 40, plus 0 is 40. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 42 is 48, plus 0 is 48. Done with that row. Now we're to the final row. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 3 plus 32 is 35, plus another 35 is 70. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 48, 54, plus 56. I just need to see that one. 110. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 56 is 65, plus 0 is 65. Is this the same as this? Captain Obvious says nope. So order does matter when you're multiplying matrices. Unlike 2 times 7, if we flip those around, we know those are equal. But that's only for number land. This is matrix land. So rules change a little bit. Now they're going to throw some weird ones at you, and you got to look out for the impossible ones. So notice we've got a row with 3 things and a column with 3 things. But notice we've only got one column. So that is going to go on the upper left hand. That's how you always get started. So 1 times 7 is 7. 2 times 8 is 16, which is 23, plus 27. 23 plus 27 is 50. Because there's no other columns, we're done with that row. So we dip down to this row, which means we're going to end up with an answer here, and then we're going to be done. Kind of weird when you get started. 4 times 7 is 28. These look like big numbers. 5 times 8 is 40. 6 times 9 is 54. So that's 94. So that's 12, 1, 22. So you can see we end up with a 2 by 1 as our answer. 2 rows, 1 column. And it worked. Doesn't look like it would work, but it does. Now check this one out. This row has 3 things in it. This column only has 2. We would need something down here in order to complete this, because the 1 doesn't have anything to hit. So that's impossible. Okay, last thing I got to throw at you today is called scalar multiplication of matrices. So, just like you guys have done this a million times, in other words, you can distribute. The question is, can you distribute a number through a matrix? You see, matrix A is this. And this is telling you that, yes, you can multiply any matrix by anything you want. So, you can see that this is just saying double every element in A. So double that, double that, double that, double that. You end up getting this. So it's really not that big of a deal. So here's A, and here's B, and here's your math problem. This first says triple everything in A. So that's 6, negative 15, 9, 0, 21, negative 6, negative 3, 12, 3. Now, minus, I'm going to just take that and put it here. Some students like to distribute a negative 2 through here, but I'm just going to keep it as a subtraction problem so my head doesn't do too many somersaults. I'm just going to double everything here and keep the subtraction sign here. So this would be negative 6, 18, 10, negative 8, 0, 2, 12, 6, and 0. Okay, now I'm going to subtract. 6 minus a negative 6, 12. Negative 15 minus 18, negative 33. 9 minus 10, negative 1. 0 minus a negative 8, careful with those. 21 minus 0 is 21. Negative 6 minus 2 is negative 8. Negative 3 minus 12 is negative 15. 12 minus 6 is 6. 3 minus 0 is 3. That's it. So now, we got another problem. This says multiply everything in B by negative 1, so let's stop and do that. So that'd be 3, negative 9, negative 5, 4, whoa, negative 4. That's how easy it is. 0, to make a mistake, that is. negative 6, negative 3, 0. Multiply everything by negative 1. Now double everything in A. And so I look at A up here, and I get 4, negative 10, 6, 0, 14, negative 4, negative 2, 8, 2. Now that little symbol means get ready. Problem just got a little harder. Multiply. So we got to multiply this by this. So we got to take this, multiply it by that. Let's do some mental math. That goes in the upper left-hand corner. 12 plus 0 plus 10, 22. This through here. Numbers are going to get harder. Negative 30. I'm going to keep track of this. Minus 90 and 36, 126. And then minus 40. So that's negative 196. And this times this. 18 plus 36 minus 10. So that's 26 plus this, which is 44. And not to tear up all of your time on the video, but then you'd have to multiply this through this, put it here, this through this, put it here, this through here, put it here, and then you drop down here, multiply it through that, put it here, this through this, here, this through this, here. Sorry if that sounds lazy on my part. I just don't want to chew up your whole video and your whole life. I think you get it. All right, good luck on your homework, guys.